Welcome back to Steel Division, Normandy 44. So today we are playing 2nd Infantry again, and I forgot which map this was, but we are going to go ahead and do another 4v4. Let's go ahead and get this started. This time I am taking the right flank, and yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and get set up. I'm playing with 2 other 2nd Infantry and 1 3rd Armored. I played a couple games with 3rd Armored earlier today, and man, I was just getting stomped. So I decided to go back and play some 2nd Infantry and see if I could do a little bit better. And, well, we'll see how this turns out. So we are playing against 2 12th SS Panzer divisions, 1 91st and 1 17th. So we'll see how they fare against a whole lot of 2nd Infantry. Let's speed this up a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to speed it. I'll leave it at 2 for now. So I'm bringing out 1 Marauder unit, the recons for 2nd Infantry, a unit of machine guns, medium machine guns, 2 units of riflemen, a unit of assault infantry, 2, I think I have 2 there, no, 1 anti-tank there, anti-tank gun, the 57mm, a 60mm mortar, a M3 command as my command unit, and a anti-air unit, because I've been noticing, this is a Bofors, I've been noticing a lot more Phase A aircraft. So over here we have our other 57mm, 1 unit of infantry, and another Marauder. And we're off. So we'll leave this rolling at 2 times speed, just because a little bit quicker is always a little bit nicer. And yep, let's see how it goes. So our plan over here is, I didn't quite want to push for this city, so I decided to dump off a little early. I probably should have pushed for this city earlier, but I didn't. I dumped off right here, which, well, it may have been a good call, because we do have some enemy vehicles pushing up the road led by a 20mm, but unfortunately for him, I have the T-30 and the 57mm, which stopped that pretty quickly. I dropped the Marauders and the 57mm here, and my rifles up there. I shouldn't have dropped my scouts, the Marauders, so far back, and shortly I will push them forward. So over here we are pushing our infantry through. Get a little close-up view on these guys. We have the guns turned off, so we are just going to be using flamers on them. Right here we have the 57mm gun pushing up, and we have a really nice coverage. He has a Firefly back here, but because of the 57mm, he is not really able to push him down this street here. So Bofors is out and providing us air cover, and we're already bringing in another unit of assault infantry because we want to take this town. It is definitely going to be key to our success. As you can see along the rest of the battlefront, we are doing quite well. We have one of our guys who did a really nice spearhead into the enemy's territory, and that gave us a +1 for just a little bit, and we do end up picking it up once again. So that is going fairly well over there. Back here, we are now dropping some 60mm mortars on this town because I had seen some infantry. They did push my 57mm gun back, and I did fall it back, or they pinned it, so I fell it back because I didn't want to lose it. I have the M3 command that I'm moving up to give a little veterancy to all these units, and our medium machine gun as well. The T-30 is crucial in this battle. He does quite a bit of work pinning down some of these grenadiers and just kind of bouncing between the two, causing them quite a bit of problems. They do have a PAC-30 up here, which ends up blowing up one of my my command vehicle, so that didn't work out too well. I guess a little bit of command infantry might be worthwhile in the beginning. I'm still not sure yet. I should have hit it a little better. If I would have put it right over here instead of over there, probably would have worked out okay. So my assault, I just charged them right up because these were pinned, and I'm smoking this area, pushing these assault as well. This is the first game I've actually used smoke. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And it was rather successful. So we pushed these grenadiers out, we have smoke, we get in a fight with their scouts and destroy them, but at the same exact time our assault squad surrenders. So seeing that seeing what was in that city, I decided to push up more infantry and another unit of machine guns, medium machine guns, and we're going to go ahead and do some work. The Pack 38, for some reason, oh no, he has a mortar back here who he's launching on his own town, which is really confusing. I guess he thought I was still pushing through the smoke, maybe. So he's got a SDKFZ providing a little bit of cover, but my 57mm is pushing him off quite nicely. And over here on this flank, he has pinned down my rifles with another SDKFZ, the mortar variant, which has a, I believe, is that a 60mm? I believe so. So Marauders, I did end up pushing them up. My 57mm main gun is right here, and I do end up getting pushed out of this tree line pretty easily. And they have a very, very nice stronghold here. But as you'll notice, we're at 54%, so we do have the +1 just due to what is going on over here, which I'm not sure if they lost a player or what. We'll have to see at the end of the match. But man, we pushed into their back, into their territory really, really hard in that area. I feel like we have a pretty good hold here. I've decided to push up again. I smoked the town one more time. And as you see, I got the 2 units of riflemen in there, and that gave me control of this town. But I did lose the T-30 to the Firefly, and that was a little bit unfortunate. I wasn't quite quick enough getting him back. I brought up another M3 command because I wanted to try and give my mortars a little bit more accuracy and a little bit faster fire rate, as well as these 57mm guns. Over here, I brought in a 107mm mortar to get a little counter battery going. And that worked out okay, as well as I do start to deal with this tree line, which I know has quite a bit of infantry in it. And I believe there I just brought in an anti-tank weapon. Here's another 107, I believe. More anti-tank, bunch of anti-tank infantry. At some point I bring in off-board artillery, but we'll try to keep an eye out for that. So he's pushing on my left flank, trying to get me out of this town, and definitely causing me some problems. But due to this, these 2 57mm guns, and I have some more anti-tank coming up, and another, this is I believe a 76. Yep, we're in phase B now, so we have a 76 coming up. We are going to plop him in the woods, and also, or where does he go? I don't remember. Oh, I remember where this guy goes. He goes over here. Now, I definitely have a lot of anti-tank coverage, so he was not really able to push at all on me with vehicles, but he is doing a pretty good job of mortaring this town at this point, and I will end up losing this unit of rifles. On the right flank, he never really pushes, and I don't really ever have to worry about it. I do drop a few mortars here and there. I've got a 105 howitzer now and my 107, and they're really starting to do some work and cause him some problems. I bring in a, let's go ahead and slow this down a little bit because it is going pretty quick. I bring in a M15, the anti-aircraft gun, mobile gun. It's got a 37mm and 2 50 cals or 12.7mm. And this GMC does sit here for a while with a 76mm. I kind of lost track of that because I was paying attention to my mortars a little too much. So right here is where I notice his tanks are starting to move. So at first I thought he was going to bring his tanks down the road, which he kind of does, but as you guys can probably already guess, that's not quite going to work out very well for him. He loses the Panzer 2C to a bailout, which, man, that's annoying when that happens, and ends up pushing the Butte Firefly, I think that's, yeah, pushes that back. So we got to keep an eye on it, and now he's bringing up a command tank. So we're going to have some problems with armor on this road because the 57s, although they're doing some pretty decent work, he's going to have to deal with them, and then I'm going to have problems. We did end up getting his command Panzer. Did we get it? Oh, no, we didn't get it yet, but that happens later. I bring in a P-47 and unfortunately lose it. I clicked right here to have it flying back in my backfield, and it ended up flying all the way up there, which was rather unfortunate. Not quite sure why that happened. I am starting to drop some artillery on these Panzer Grenadiers and just kind of softening up a little bit. But, well, as you can see, we're definitely taking some hits here. In this town, I should say. My anti-aircraft defense is getting very, very strong. I have an M15 there, Bofors, and I believe I have another M15 coming up soon. I'm not sure what happened with this M3 command. He ended up just dropping here, but these two infantry units are in response to this SDK that I saw, which they really pushed onto my flank, so I knew I had to do something about that right away. Let's go ahead and speed it up a little bit again. So as of right now, I'm holding this town really quite well, and I saw that tank move down this road to the left, so I knew that they were coming after me. So right down here you'll see I bring in a heavy machine gun over here. I'm pulling this M3 command around. I didn't really know why he was there, and I bring an anti-tank gun for this left flank. Over here I finally popped this 76 that was just sitting there, and I bring him over here to get a good little line of sight on this area because I kind of want to get rid of this guy, this SDK. He's trying to come in and drop some bombs, which he succeeds here, destroying both my 107 and my 60 millimeter? No, that's my 60 millimeter mortar. I believe it was a 107 and the 105 or something like that. I can't remember. I bring a unit of scouts up. There's the 76 millimeter anti-tank gun, and now we push in. So you'll notice with these scouts, I start to get a little crazy with these guys. And this actually turns out to be a fun little micro thing I have going on. So I'm checking his vision. He obviously can't see my scouts, which means, you guessed it, we're going to try and sneak close. Over here, not a lot is going on. I mean, he's not really pushing, so I don't really have to do anything. I just need to close this hole right here. And as you can see with the rest of the battlefield, we still have quite a bit of terrain. We have the +1, we're just shy of the +2, so it's going fairly well for us. His tank, his Panzer IV, does take a shot from my 76 millimeter, but unfortunately it doesn't really do anything beyond that. Now I'm pushing up with these Marauders, and let's get in here and take a peek at what happens. And we get a quick shot, but we miss. So I back him out real quick. He moves up and takes another hit from my anti-tank gun over there and pushes back into this little building. What is that, little housing area, little farm? And there he goes. So my Marauders, I'm trying to get him close enough to put a couple hits in on him. And so we sneak up here again and take the shot, and he's gone. So we ended up pushing his tank back, which was fantastic. I love these little Marauders because your opponent is not going to know you have anything there because they don't push the what is it, the front line back or forth. So it actually works out pretty well. I do end up taking out one of their little Opel Blitz, but they're filled with Pioneers, so I have to run that guy away pretty quickly. At this point, I have a rifles leader. Not quite sure why I grabbed two of them, but I did. And oh, I did it for the anti-tank because I knew they were bringing a lot of vehicles over here. And then the heavy machine gun, which was gonna move up here and cover. So I'm starting to push back on this side. I really want to get this little bubble closed off, and my ally over here is also doing the same. So we're starting to pincer them in and close the gap pretty quickly. Over here, again, same thing. I've got the town, I've got this little area, and he's not pushing at all. He's pretty focused over here, so we're just going to go ahead and do the same. Focus over here. I bring my 60 millimeter mortar over, and we are going to use him to start dropping some mortar rounds on this SDK, and there's some infantry there as well. This pins them down very nicely, and so I start to move my rifle leader up and my Marauders to hopefully get the surrender. And as you can see, they are not having a good time with those incoming mortar shells. So pinned one down. He ends up not, he was pinned for a second, but then he's not pinned. I'm not really sure what happened there, and I lose my Marauders to it. And of course, it must have been an extra unit and he fell back or something and I just missed it. My rifles leader is falling back, but we're putting enough pressure on these guys that they are not going to last long, and they're all now falling back. So we did get a unit to surrender here. My 76 millimeter gun took a couple shots and caused his SDK, his half-track, to fall back, but now in comes the artillery barrage, which causes my 76 to fall back and my M8 that I had pulled in here. My mortars are out of ammo, and we are now bringing up another unit of recon to replace the one we lost, as well as 2 anti-tanks and a 76 millimeter gun over here on this left flank. Oh, he already came in. I forgot that guy was even there. So here's a whole bunch of riflemen that we're going to bring up to try to push in this little woodland battle here that we have going on. A little battle of the bulge or something like that. We've got a little open field, two tree lines on either side, and we are trying to push our way through. He does bring up some mortars to cause me some problems, and of course that Pack 38, which is definitely causing issues. Over here, as you can see, nothing is going on. But he's brought a Panther D in to hold this little road. I have the 257s and the 76, so I'm not really concerned about what's going on there. I'm able to get rid of the Pack 38 and destroy a unit of infantry, and so now I am going to start pushing up. My 76 millimeter is definitely putting in some nice work on his SDK, and so we are going to be pushing in this area. Or actually, yeah, there's an SDK and then there was some mortars. So we're doing a pretty good job of pushing our opponent back. So the bubble is finally closing, and now the focus is coming back over here. So I have brought in some offboard artillery, and I'm dropping it where this Panther D is sitting, and this Butte Firefly ends up falling back. I don't remember what caused him to fall back, but this artillery is definitely going to help because he rolled two half tracks right into it. That was really unfortunate for him. And then of course with the 57mm here, and then I did lose one of the 57mm to an airstrike. Now I'm dropping another one over here because I want to start clearing this tree line in hopes of pushing into it. So my T-30 was able to take out the infantry that pushed forward, but I know there's more infantry in that tree line, so we're going to go ahead and just bomb it anyways. Over here he's got a Flak 41 88mm set up, and that is definitely going to cause us quite a bit of issues with our aircraft in a little bit here. So as you can see, we just dropped some more offboard artillery on this little tree line, and it's either now or after I drop another one we start to push forward. I don't remember when it happens. But he's still trying to push pretty hard on this left flank. Here we go, yep. And now I'm pushing into this tree line because, well, I want to take it. So T-30 comes up, two bazooka squads come up, and now we're going to kind of try and grab this tree line if at all possible. Over here we end up taking out two half tracks and an infantry squad with I believe the 76 and the M8 that's over here, and then of course we have machine guns and bazookas, and we're continuing to push up and close that little hole that we kind of left open. So we now have this tree line, but unfortunately this is not really the best. I pushed a little too far with these bazookas, and so they are taking shots, but I am okay with this bazooka and the scouts. They're able to be hidden, and so we're good there. The T-30, I should have brought him over to this area, maybe right in there, because then he could have taken out at least the mortar and got shots on the recon, but I did not do that, unfortunately. And as you'll see in a few minutes, this pretty heavy push here that my opponent does ends up getting them eyes on this T-30, or maybe that, I thought he fell back and gets killed. Maybe that's what happens, he falls back. Now over here you'll notice I brought in 3 105s because at this point he wasn't really pushing on me, so I figured, well, I'm gonna just start mortaring him into little bits and pieces. So I bring in 3 105s, and I start dropping mortar rounds over here to kind of clear them out a little bit, and at this point I just use them to kind of hold them back this whole time. Unfortunately I dropped them way back here, and I should have moved them up somewhere near the anti-air, like maybe in this area, because that would have given me much better range, but I didn't. So that causes me a little bit of problems in terms of having to move them up. I did lose a anti-tank gun, one of the 57s. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. And my 76 fell back because he is hitting me with some aircraft, and I can't really retaliate with this Flak 88. That thing is just mean. It's hitting my machine guns here right now, as you can see. But now I'm starting to drop some artillery on this little tank push that he has. And I believe I bring this aircraft in. Oh no, that's what I do. The aircraft already came in. I drop another offboard artillery on him, and that fortunately slows their advance. Danger close to these marauders. It was a very, very close call in on that artillery. So over here I'm kind of running out of ammo, and I didn't really pay too much attention to that, so that actually ends up costing me a little bit over here. But as you can see, I had an aircraft come in, the offboard artillery is just doing work. Everybody's falling back, and now I'm going for that Flak 88. So we're putting quite a few shots on that Flak 88, and in a moment here, we end up dropping it. What ended up? Okay, so the 76 took out the tank there. This 76 is now in range. I pushed him up because he'd fallen back, and he ends up doing quite a bit of damage to everything that's over here, and now I'm dropping another offboard artillery. Right here, we pin down the Flak 88, and in a moment, I kind of want to watch it. There it goes. We hit the Flak 88. Unfortunately, that little icon was in the way. We hit the Flak 88 and destroyed it with artillery, so that was a nice little win, especially since at that point they don't bring any more anti-aircraft in. So in comes another bombardment, and that does a very good job of pushing him back, but he had moved around to the side at this point. But this gives this 57mm a chance to play, and of course I have some bazookas, so I'm not super concerned. My artillery did a great job of just nailing these guys here, pushing them all back. The Firefly, the SPW, and the Panther D. He is doing the same thing, hitting me with some artillery, but I'm just bringing in anti-tank gun after anti-tank gun, and that's causing him quite a few issues. I believe I just lost that other 76, or he hit it and it had to fall back, and yeah, that's where it fell back to. So 57's here, it's now pinned, but the 76 is putting some shots in. And as you'll see in a moment, as he tries to fall back with this guy, there it is. Okay, an aircraft comes in and gets that one, and one of these two gets hit by our 76mm. Who is it? Is it you? Apparently not. Okay, well, the 57's gone, 76mm doing work, and I have an M10A1 destroyer who's also doing a little bit of work. Keeping this road clear. Oh, it must have been the Marauders right here that took him down. That might have been what it was, or maybe not. Who knows? So this half track is trying to move up. He finally takes the shot. There it is. It's from the destroyer. We're back to pushing on this left flank, and this is where I told you it cost me these two units. I wasn't paying attention that they didn't have any ammo, and so in comes a couple SPWs and some infantry, which unfortunately these bazookas start shooting at, and they end up dying, and the leaders I fall back with. If I would have had the guns turned off on the bazookas, I would have taken out at least one of these SPWs, but the game ends right there. So overall, I was pretty happy with the game. I felt like I held my own pretty well, and it definitely showed in the score. So I had 3,118 kills to 1,435 losses. I feel like that was a pretty good showing. And then of course, Illegitimate, he did very, very well in terms of kills, took quite a beating in terms of losses though. So 42-58 to 38-35. We did pretty good. Let's go look at our kills. We've got our 57mm guns, which took out a half track and a Panzer. Our mortar did very well, the 60mm, two Panzer Grenadiers and MG42. As long as, what I consider doing well is making your points back. I mean, if you're destroying something and making your points back, nicely done. This 57mm gun did amazing. It got 4 half tracks and a unit of infantry. The 107 did all right, Pack 38. The other 76mm, a half track, grill, which I actually am not familiar with that. I believe it's one of those like 105mm anti-infantry tanks or whatever, but I'm not 100%. The Panther, the Command Panther was destroyed as well, and some infantry. Another 57. Basically, as you can see, the 57mm, the anti-tank guns did work in this game. Really, really worked out well for me. And having nice air cover kept them from being destroyed too easily. My trusty M8 over here took down 3 half tracks. I was pretty happy with that. And that's about the extent of it. So, guys, what did you think of that game? Do you think it was pretty good? Do you have any tips or hints for me? Do you see anything I may have blatantly done wrong? Feel free to let me know in the comments. And you know the drill. If you liked this video, smash that like button. It really helps me out, guys, and I really appreciate it. And if you want to see more like it, definitely subscribe to this channel. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and have a great day. Bye-bye.